The Square Ball Podcast.
Hello there, welcome to The West Stand, our guest-led show here on The Square Ball. I'm Dan Moylan, Michael Normanton is with me as well.
Hello.
Today the show is brought to you by Saily, which is a new eSIM service app brought to you by the creators of NordVPN. I can talk about this authentically now because I've actually used it.
How was it?
It was really good.
Worked.
Dead simple. In my phone, left me normal... Oh, I don't have a SIM card in it. I've got an eSIM anyway. Can take two eSIMs. That's exciting, isn't it?
Very fancy.
One of which is Saily. So I just kept my normal contract going, turned the data off, added Saily as an eSIM, flicked the data on for that. Seamless. Sorted.
Nice. Because sometimes you have to pay like a $5 a day or something, don't you, for data when you go abroad?
Yeah. Our upcoming trip to the States is looking a bit pricey in that regard.
Well, you can use it again. Switch it back on.
I will do. I'll buy some data for the States instead of Spain as I did for that. Don't even have to do anything then, do I? It's easy. Sorted. An eSIM provides you an internet connection wherever you go. So you've got data plans in over 200 destinations. And it means you've got a connection whenever you need and you're not getting ripped off by your phone network. You can get the Saily app in the App Store, both Apple and Android. If it doesn't work on your phone and you happen to buy data, you don't have the right tools for two eSIMs or whatever, they will give you a refund, no questions asked. Nice and easy, isn't it? And you avoid having to buy dodgy SIM cards from blokes hanging around outside the airports, which is, I think, your favourite hobby.
You don't have to remember your little pin either to jab your SIM card out with, because that's a tough one to remember on order.
I mean, you're not even allowed on a plane with that, probably.
Maybe not, but I think you'd probably struggle to attack anyone with a SIM card removal tool. It's a
fair shout. 24/7 support available within the app as well. Download the Saily app on your phone to get started. Yeah, as I say, it works on both Apple and Android. And if you use the Square Ball at checkout, you get an exclusive 15% discount on a Saily eSIM data plan. And if you're watching on YouTube as well, there should hopefully be a QR code on screen. If not, you'll find the link in the episode description box as well. Today's guest, AIDY White. Welcome back, AIDY, from a summer break. Do you have a nice time?
Yeah, it was decent, thank you. Went to Rhodes. Was probably a little bit hot, a little bit warm for my skin. Saying to you guys, I got a long delay on the way home, 10-hour delay.
How many kids?
Just the 3.
Yeah.
So that was fun. To be fair, they did really well with it, but yeah, glad to be back on the home soil as well.
And football, were you at the Everton game on Monday?
I was doing the co-coms for BBC with Popey and Johnny, and it was terrific, wasn't it? Just good to be back, and then the way that it started the game, it just gave everybody a good shot of confidence, for the season ahead. I thought it was a really good and solid and brave performance, especially being on the front foot. I think not knowing how we were going to perform this season, how we were going to set up, it was nice to see that, we were on the front foot and put Everton to the sword, really.
Yeah, we were speaking about this a couple of times this week and reflected on this. And I realised one thing we possibly didn't address is whether it caught you a little bit by surprise. Did it surprise either of you to see us being so aggressive and so front foot?
Yeah, very much so. Because I think in the opening minute, they're the ball in our half. Literally, it's just me going into panic mode. I think they had like 20 seconds of possession. I was like, oh no, we're struggling.
That's what my dad does. Yeah.
But then after that,
here we go.
But almost straight away after that, we turned it around and also saw Stack limp within about 30 seconds as well. And I was like, oh, brilliant. He's broken. We're under the cosh. Terrible. But then, within like a minute, it had turned around and we had him penned in.
Actually, that's one thing that has happened since we spoke last. Ampadu is broken.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't have that news when we recorded yesterday. Bit of a blow, AIDY.
Yeah, MCL, I believe. I think Farker's come out and said it's going to be after the international break that it'll be available. On first thoughts, I thought it was his ankle, actually, that looked like it got stuck and then it made contact and looked like he'd almost twisted it.
So that is the MCL is the knee, is it?
The knee, MCL's the knee. But yeah, at first thought it was ankle, but no, it's been confirmed that it's going to be knee. So big miss. I thought he played really, really well the other night, gave us great solidarity and that sort of. It was almost like a 4-1-4-1 without the ball, wasn't it? Where Ampadu sat in front of that back four. In front of him, you had Stack, Tanaka, and then your 2 wide man. But no, he performed really well and just showed what he was about, his leadership. And I thought pretty much everybody did in terms of stepping up to that next level. We talk about the difference between, Premiership and Championship. What is it? But I think a lot of our players maybe last season showed their quality and then continued it over the Everton game. But obviously, long season ahead still.
That difference, it strikes me, I don't know if this is true, it strikes me as sort of speed of thought and just better decision making at the higher level. So you can't afford to make the misplaced passes and the same errors that maybe you get away with on more occasions in the Championship.
Yeah, I think it is one, physicality, the athleticism, and in terms of your all-round game, people just have that everything in the locker. But then the key that sets then those individuals apart is the decisions they make. Certain areas of the pitch, what did they do with the ball? Did they dribble? Did they pass? And like you said, if you do give it away in certain areas, quickly you get punished. Even like teams like Liverpool, first game of the season, they've got the ball, Salah gives a sloppy pass away, one of the best players in the world, and then all of a sudden Bournemouth counter-attack within 10 seconds, it's in their net. So it just shows you that the level that they can counter and cause you real issues.
I watched that Liverpool-Bournemouth game and I did feel a bit fearful because they both looked really quick and really sharp, and I was thinking, oh no. I think this feels like it feels a real marked difference to the Championship. But then Everton turned up and looked quite championshipy, and it was like, oh.
Maybe, well, that was the question mark, wasn't it? Is whether Leeds were going to be able to step up, because I suppose you associate in your mind, you think we're going to be the same as last year, but we're not. We've got new players, and the players have been drilled in a slightly different way. Can you see any little tweaks from like a tactical point of view, things like that, AIDY, that maybe have changed since last year?
I think just off the ball, that 4-1-4-1 is a little bit more prominent than it was. I was surprised to see how fullbacks go so high like they were last year. I honestly thought they'd see it a little bit deeper. We might play a little bit more direct, but no, it just looked very, very similar in terms of on the ball, and it was brave. And I don't know whether it was just that one-off game because we felt so comfortable and we just pinned them back in, that we were able to do that, or whether that's something that we plan to do going forward. I'm not too sure. Only time will tell with that. But apart from that, it looked like a decent, team from last year as well. I think there was sort of 8 players, wasn't there, that was playing in the Championship last year that started the game. So it's good to have that little bit of continuity as well in there.
Yeah. I mean, this is where I suppose the Arsenal game is intriguing if you put aside all the emotional, desire to get at least a point, hopefully. But imagine 3. But, to come away from the Emirates with something would be ace. But I'm almost intrigued to see what the game plan is like when it's not against a team like Everton, who seem to sit deep and want to absorb things. Didn't really have an answer for our pressure. But what will that translate into if we are on the back foot a little bit more? What that... Is it going to be a 4-1-4-1? Do you think we're going to see more of that? Are we going to see more concessions of possession a little bit? Maybe longer clearances, because Perry seems minded to do that a little bit. Just get it clear away from the danger area and then try and absorb things. What do you think we're going to see this weekend?
I think we'll see a similar formation. As the game goes on, it wouldn't surprise me if we don't get our fullbacks quite high and leave ourselves exposed. I think it wouldn't surprise me if he swaps one of the midfielders. I know obviously Ampadu's been injured, but prior to that, he might have brought out a Tanaka and put in somebody maybe a little bit more defensive minded, like a Gruev or a Longstaff potentially. He's been known to do that as well. Farke last year as well. He didn't really like to play Rothwell a lot away from home, did he? So it wouldn't surprise me if we just see a little bit more defensive solidity in the midfield. And I don't think he'll do too many other changes, to be honest. I think in terms of personnel, I think it'll just be more mindful of keeping possession and not leaving ourselves as exposed going forward.
Do you think maybe he swaps out Piru with Mecha because he can do the I suppose the grinding, the dirty stuff really up front, perhaps a little bit more effectively than Piru? Because if you do have to clear it a lot more, you want it to stick up there, don't you? And, Pirro is a technically good footballer, but he's sort of looking for those quicker interchanges of play, whereas maybe is Mecha more minded just to hold it up and give us a little bit of a breather. Yeah,
and also what impressed me as soon as Mecha came on, he was trying to get him behind. He stretched the game a lot on Monday night, just broke lines, forward runs, etc. And then when it did come up to him, especially sort of in the last 5 or 10 minutes, once he'd found his rhythm in the game, got the confidence with a goal, it stuck a lot more. He got himself in the areas where his game management was good, got himself into corners, won free kicks, throw-ins late in the game. So he was impressive when he came on. Like you say, we know what we're going to get with Pirro, don't we? He's going to be technically good. If he gets a chance, he might be able to finish one off. I'm not seeing enough of Mecha to fully judge his all-round game yet, but he looked sharp when he came on and offers a different threat going forward as well.
And we have Calvert-Lewin in the mix as well.
Well, I was going to ask you that. Do you think it's perhaps a bridge too far for him at this stage because we didn't see anything of him in the first game of the season because obviously he'd just been signed and he had to spend a full day doing photographs. Is he going to be integrated already? Maybe is it a bench position?
Bench. Yeah. I think and he's probably a decent option there. I think you're right. I think he might go with Metro because Saliba and Gabriel are both quite physical centre backs, aren't they? And I could say the same of Everton's, I suppose, and we played Pirro there. But yeah, I feel like he might make that switch for this weekend. Yeah,
and then maybe you bring Pirro off the bench with 20 to go or something like that. See if you can pinch one if you're still in the game at that point, which hopefully we are.
Yeah, all we've seen as well, Pirro, he occasionally has brought him on as a number 10, hasn't he, as well in the past? If we're chasing games, and then maybe you can leave a striker on and Pirro behind if we need a goal.
Well, this is, I suppose, is another test or another indication of Farke's tactical nous, if that's fair, because we wondered if he was going to be able to make the step up to Premier League level on the basis of the Everton game. Absolutely. This is a different beast this weekend. Yeah. So is it about proactively making those tweaks? Because I suppose this, if you want to widen it out a little bit and talk about transfers, it feels a bit more like we're building a squad now rather than just the first 11 with some backups. And he maybe wants to have those options to do different things.
I think so. I think even with the signing of like Okafor coming in, he's not started a lot of games, previously. I think he's like started 7 games in the last few seasons, whether that's with injury or whether he's just more impactful coming off the bench. But it looks like we've got good options in all positions, almost like we could quite simply change one person in, one person out, and we're not really losing any strength. Whereas last year we had a good squad for the Championship, no doubt about it. But if you kept that squad for the Premiership, it probably would be a little bit light, especially on the bench. So I do think that we built a squad all around that could serve as well. Obviously, there's no doubt about it. Going to Arsenal, it's going to be difficult. I don't think we've won there in something like 14 years or something like that. So it's going to be a hard game. But, we've got to try and get something out of the game. And then, like you say, Daniel Farke might make a couple of adjustments to do that.
I suppose the 3 points against Everton, it gives us a little bit more comfort in going there and not thinking, shit, where's this win going to come from? And you're almost looking at last year and thinking, well, they didn't win till October. Are we going to suffer the same fate?
I always saw the first 3 games and thought, if we can get 3 points from those first 3, that's actually all right.
Because, well, you're tracking,
however they come.
You're tracking for survival there, aren't you? It's 1 point per game to stay up almost for definite.
Yeah. And Arsenal away is one of from Everton being one of the probably 6 or 7 home games you think need something from this. Arsenal away is one of the 6 or 7 away games you go, realistically, probably no chance.
I mean, and people get annoyed though when you treat these things and you say it's a free hit, but you have to be, I think you have to be sort of intellectually honest about this and say you've got to look at it as a really difficult thing, but it still does represent an opportunity.
You've got to be realistic, haven't you? Obviously, you want to go there, get something out of the game, but, Arsenal probably going to be title contenders again this year, aren't they? The amount of firepower they've got in that final third, as much as you could potentially hold them as a team for, a duration of the game, all it takes is 1 split second for someone like, your Odegaards or, Martinelli, Saka, just to create a moment of brilliance. And they've kind of got that in abundance, really. So it is going to be difficult, but you've got to set up like you try to get something from the game. And I do believe, if we do, then we've got a chance, but there's no doubt it's going to be difficult.
Well, there's talk of Gyökeres being out. I think there's doubts over Havertz, and it looks like potentially Eze won't feature as well as their new signing. It might be a bit
right back issues as well. Ben White went off injured, and then I think Timber, who came on, he's also got a knock as well. So they're falling apart.
I mean, but it does, again, talking about that opportunity, it does represent a chance to catch someone at a good time potentially, because I feel like we did with Everton, because their squad building, I know that there's a bit of anxiety about ours not being quite finished yet. Theirs certainly reflects that as well. So it was a good time to get them at home on that first day of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I watched them, the Man U game on telly. They weren't great, to be honest with you. The goal that they did score as well came from a corner. The Man United keeper's kind of flapped at it as well, hasn't he? And it's gone to the back stick, and they've kind of knocked it in from there. The left back scored, Calafiori, I think it was. So they weren't great, but them being at home, first game, home game of the season, they're going to have the crowd behind them and stuff. But we'll take a lot of numbers down there, I'm sure, as well, and give it a shot. But I think it's one of those where you've just got to be realistic. And if we don't, get anything from the game, it's not all panic and like, oh no, it's just realism.
Before we move on from Everton, in fact, how long into the commentary did you get before you got to talk about your goal against Everton?
Do you know what? It wasn't really mentioned.
You're joking?
No.
I thought you'd have been trying to I thought you'd been trying to bring that up at every opportunity.
I think this is how you break down Everton.
I think Popey mentioned it sort of in the build-up very briefly before the game, but no, it wasn't mentioned. It was very quiet on that front, actually. I didn't really want to put it in there either.
They've done you dirty.
You think?
I think what happened is Popey's refused to. He said, "I'm not having him on if he starts talking about that."
Maybe, yeah,
because he's an Evertonian.
Blue nose, isn't he?
Yes. Just returning to Arsenal. Last season, they lost 4 games across the whole season, so they lost twice away in the first half of the season. Within the space of a couple of weeks, actually. Bournemouth, they lost 2-0. Newcastle, they lost 1-0. And then into the second half of the season, back end of February, they lost at home to West Ham, who struggled and weren't great, but shows they can be got at. And they lost at home to Bournemouth as well on the run in, fourth to the end game of the season. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that they drop points at home. They're not completely bulletproof.
I feel like if there's a team that's worth annoying, it's probably Arsenal.
Yeah.
Admittedly, they can annoy you back just as much, but they're quite a set of moaners, probably led by Arteta. I'm aware it's a Richard Keys thing.
Yeah.
But I can't be doing with Arteta.
Yeah, I mean, me and Richard Keys don't have a great deal in common.
No.
Hairy hands and all that. No. But I kind of understand his beef with Arteta. There is a little bit of his demeanour like on the touchline, and it's a little bit David Brent, some of the stuff, isn't it, as well? Like, I don't know. And it's kind of funny seeing him just come up short, because I think that's kind of in our national character, isn't it, really? We like to see dickheads fail.
An uppity dickhead fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it again. Can Farke get in his head? Just upset him a bit.
Yeah. I feel like Daniel Farke almost, he can kill with kindness. You know, with that, he's got the very gentle, sort of slightly effeminate tone. But imagine if he sends our players out to absolutely kick the shit out of them. But then he's just dead nice about it afterwards.
It's really apologetic on the side. I don't know why they're doing that.
Yeah. while bloody Arteta just steps just outside the boundaries of the technical area, and Richard Keys goes puce with fury. But yeah, I mean, look, it feels like an outside chance. I haven't looked at what the odds are for the likely outcomes. I dare say we're going to be distant. Third place in those 3 outcomes.
Yeah, and I believe the last time we won there was Viduka 2003.
Is that right?
What strip was that in?
Well, yeah.
In that blue away strip.
Was.
And I imagine we might be wearing that, so you never know.
So we're going to look good.
Yeah.
And it's stupid. These things, they mean nothing, but you do kind of attach a little bit of an emotional kind of...
You hang your hope on it, don't you, a little bit?
Yeah.
And hope there's some relevance in the future with it.
I mean, just to counterpoint what I was saying about how you can get at them, they also beat Man City 5-1 at home last season, and Crystal Palace 5-1 away, and West Ham 5-2 away. So let's hope we have a good day.
We're 11-1, by the way,
in a 2.5 horse race.
Yeah.
Right.
It's European place at stake here, isn't there? 6v7 as well.
True.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to find reasons to be positive about this, because why not? You know, we're coming off the back of a good solid win. Is it maybe that we're a bit of an unknown quantity to them? Is there something we can do there to exploit that? I don't know. Different tactics. So even if they went back and studied us last season, he looks at Everton, it's probably going to be different from the Everton game. Could we catch him a little bit on the hop?
I think it will be different, because I don't think we'll press them. I think probably our best hope is to frustrate them and force them into making some mistakes as they try to desperately to win this, because they presumably they see themselves as title contenders. Much as we look at this and go, probably nothing, they would look at this and go, this is a game we absolutely must get 3 points from.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can get them to the hour mark at 0-0, they might start doing something daft.
Crowd gets frustrated, you can wind up a few players. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I think so. And I think I suppose you've got to a certain extent, play them at their own game as well, which is to break the game up, because they're good at that.
They're good at the game management, aren't they?
They're doing it like on at Old Trafford, weren't they? Like just going down for fouls and cramp and, you know, the dark arts, if you like.
Yeah. Well, Everton were doing it after 5 minutes the other day, weren't they? I think they realised quite quickly that, you know, they were getting a bit of a runaround, and they started taking 20, 30 seconds on throw-ins, and, you know, Tarkowski giving it to the fullback to give it back. It was just all a little bit, so, you know, why not? Do it for us as well. A couple
of specific game and tactical questions for you, AD. Yep. As a former pro, what do you make of the 8-second goalkeeper rule?
I like it, but then it kind of goes out the window when it's a goal kick, because they don't penalise them, you know, for that. So you can take about 2 minutes for a goal kick, and then you're in the same situation.
Basketball style shot clocks for that? You're all for it, aren't you, Michael?
It'd be nice, actually, on the big screen.
Yeah.
it'll be less of an issue this year, but in the Championship, every single game, every team just tried to waste time against us last year. Yeah. Well, for the last 2 years.
But it might work in our favour this year.
So it's fine.
Yeah. So let's hold it off for a season and let's get a campaign next year.
Yeah, let's get established in the league, wasting as much time as we can.
Perry taking 3 minutes over a goal kick at the Emirates, crowd hissing and booing.
It'll be interesting to see how Perry gets on actually, because Arsenal are a bit, Sam Allardyce light, aren't they, with the set pieces and stuff, and as you saw in the Man United game, putting pressure on the goalkeeper, which I still think was a foul, personally. If it hadn't been against Man United, it would definitely have been a foul. But
pick your battles.
But I'm willing to allow it on that occasion. But it'll be interesting to see how he gets on, because Meslier, under that kind of pressure from set pieces, would have terrified me. And I kind of hope to see him trying to bully defenders and get in people's faces a bit and just like stamp his authority on the 6-yard box a bit.
Yeah, seeing him in the flesh, he's a big guy. Not just tall, but his frame is wide.
Imposing.
Yeah. And the only thing that obviously concerned me slightly was maybe his distribution the other night. I was saying to the Popey and Johnny, I'm not really keen on Brazilian keepers. You're brought up in the best footballing country in the world. Why are you a keeper? And then saw his distribution. I was like, maybe that's why. But I know it's only one game, so it remains to be seen. But I can't imagine we'd be playing out too much from the back at Arsenal away. So I think we'd probably be all right.
Although, is that one way to frustrate them as well, rather than conceding possession, which inevitably will lend you to going on the back foot, by booting it upfield? Do you try and frustrate them by playing in safe areas and all of a sudden I want to see us knocking it around at the back and not trying to attack?
Well, I thought we might go a bit more directly against Everton, but when we did, Perry knocked it long a couple of times. You're knocking it long to Pirro,
Nonto as well,
James. Yeah. Not really on, and as much as we brought in physical presence, maybe if your Okafor's up there, your Metchard, maybe that's a bit different then. But right now, I don't think the setup against Everton was right for that longer throw order, unless we're trying to catch them on the counter.
Yeah, but to be fair, we didn't use that often, did we? It felt like moments where we just needed a little bit of relief or a sensible option, just get it away. Yeah. But the plan against Everton, it felt to me, was a bit more tactical and possession based. Whereas, like you say, maybe this is the argument for Metchard, isn't it? Actually, is that if you're going to go a bit more direct and not ask Perry to start tippy tapping it around, just get it up there and hope that he can make it stick up there, whether it's Metchard or Pirro or whoever. Just look to exploit things in a different way. Yeah,
and he can stretch them as well. He can't just hold it up. He looked like he's got physical pace, and he looks like a real athlete. We saw him, after the game as well, doing the sprints and the running after the game, and he can move. The guy can match. You really can get him behind people, cause people problems, as well as being a physical threat. And then bringing in Okafor as well. Whether he's involved or too soon. I imagine he'll be involved. I think he'll be on the bench, similar to maybe Calvert-Lewin. So it is giving us more physical options as well to mix up our game. Whereas the Everton game, I don't think we were set up for that quite yet.
Just returning to that, to the goalkeeper question, I wanted to ask what that would be like for you as a defender, where suddenly your goalkeeper is not allowed to hang on to the ball anymore. And I think we saw a little bit of that with the way that Rodon in particular was setting up. There was a lot of, when it went back to the keeper, splitting straight. Yeah, splitting and making yourself available for it to be distributed to you. It must be something they've worked on. Yeah,
definitely, because if you don't, you hang fire, all of a sudden the opposition know they can just go pressure high on, and it's then just got to boot it, so you can be set up from there. So just splitting early, getting the ball out, distributed as quickly as you can and back into play, especially when you've got the momentum, and like we did the other night in that first half, just as soon as you can get the ball back onto the pitch, it makes a huge difference. So I think it was a tactical call from Rodon, and smart as well.
What did you make of Gabriel Goodmanson, Michael, and you as well, AIDY, as a lefty?
I thought it was excellent. Very different against Saka. Probably, we're going to assume it's probably Saka. I think both Bogle and Goodmanson both had pretty easy nights, I thought, against Everton.
Yes. I don't want to call it too soon after the first game, but it wasn't Goodmanson, Classmanson. That first game was was brilliant.
Very Goodmanson.
Yeah, very Goodmanson. But obviously a different challenge. They're going to be up against it against as Saka. But in terms of what we had last season, Firpo excelled going forward. I don't think Goodmanson probably has that end ball in the locker maybe quite as good as Firpo, but his all-round play as a fullback is is probably better. You know, he can go forward, he can defend. He was decent on the ball. Game intelligence was good. His runs were smart. So I thought he was very, very good. And like you say, didn't have tons to do. You know, I thought Alcaraz was Everton's worst player, and that was probably to do with Gudmundsson. Bogle, obviously quite comfortable throughout the game as well, coming back from an injury late on. So good to see him get through the game unscathed as well.
I think I've got some sort of trauma from seeing Cody Drama playing against Arsenal. He gave us a bit of a torrid time.
When was
again.
that?
It was under the Bielsa season where we had a load of injuries. I think it might have been Cody Drama's on the league
was
start.
it the home fixture?
You know what I mean?
When it was absolutely freezing in Ellen
You know
Road?
what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's Cody Drama there for you.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. I've just looked up. December 18th it was. But yeah, Martinelli got a couple, Saka got one, and I think it made me just think,
it was COVID, wasn't it? We had
Arsenal down the wings will do us in.
We had an outbreak of COVID, and we could have taken the opportunity to cancel the fixtures like a lot of teams did, and other teams I think probably stretched the limits of credibility when they did that. But obviously Bielsa was like, "Now we'll play it. We'll put in a bunch of kids."
Yeah, but it can't be as bad as that, can it?
No, I wouldn't have said so. I thought we looked really competitive. I mean, that's I think the important thing to remember, that you know, Everton doesn't make the season in much the same way that if we lose to Arsenal, even if heavily, it doesn't break it either. No,
absolutely not. And I don't think we get too up and down quite yet. You know, it's 37 games remaining. You know, Everton was brilliant, and it's just given us a boost, hasn't it, and a confidence, and just secured a little bit of that hope that we were all hoping over the course of the off season. Going forward, though, it's going to be hard, isn't it? There's no doubt about it. Still, it's a long season, so lots of games to come and lots of difficult moments as well. But you know, up and down it is.
That is football, isn't it? And that's Leeds United. Yeah, I like I said on the show on Thursday, I quite like the grim ultra realism that we've gone into this season with. It feels very Yorkshire. It feels very Leeds to think, this is going to be bloody hard. Rather than being giddy and coming in with thinking, we're going to take this league by storm and qualify for Europe. It feels like we know we're in for a deep, dirty battle, and I think we're probably mentally prepared for it. That's one of the things that I've really enjoyed is seeing that.
I think Ellen Road is livelier when we are in that process of, like last year, like, yes, it was good in moments, but there was patches of Ellen Road when we were just, we turn up, we win.
Yeah.
Whereas, when Ellen Road can be at its best when we're having to dig in and the crowd really, really get behind you, in the dark patches, that's when Ellen Road and the Leeds United fans, for me, are really at their best.
Yeah.
I've just looked up the Arsenal game. We had Tyler Roberts and Gelhardt were our attacking central attackers in that game.
Wow.
And Liam McCarron came off the bench for his one and only Leeds appearance. So it was very bare bonesy. Was that day?
Jesus.
You do look at our squad now and you think maybe Rafinha aside, it is generally looking much better, isn't it, than it was?
It looks pretty well balanced, AIDY, doesn't it? I think
all over the pitch. Yeah. I think there's things that carry over from last season in terms of our setup and the way that he does want to play a little bit, but adding that little bit of physicality that we brought in with pretty much all the signings over 6 foot helps as well. It might be one of those where not necessarily Everton, but an Arsenal game where you're hoping on a set play, a good stack delivery, somebody arriving in the back stick and knocking one down. I thought even someone like Struick, who's very good, going forward from set plays, got a lot of goals. I know he's had various injuries, but going forward, Stack's delivery, Struick could be a real threat going forward for our offensive set plays.
That's a good question, actually. Centre back, with Bijol now available, would you make the change? Because Bijol's even bigger than Strout, but Strout probably deserves to retain his place. Or do we see 3 at the back?
I think he sticks.
I think he'd stick as well. I think if Strout hadn't been as good as he was the other night, it would have left the door open, but I thought it was brilliant. Right. So I think it would be very harsh to drop him.
I think he waits until the international break. Gives, unless for whatever reason someone gets injured, because he's played kind of Struick pre-season. He knew there'd be all suspending was going to happen, so he's just kind of backed off those last couple of games of pre-season, not really started him. So it just gives him a little bit of time to bed in, get his match fitness up, elsewhere. It might be, behind closed doors or whatever it may be.
The only thing I wonder about that is that Farke is known for, as part of the recruitment process, he places a phone call late on in that process to the potential signing and tells them where they'll fit in the squad, whether they're fighting for a place or whether he can guarantee them starts. And the only thing is, I wonder if he's told the pair of them, like, Beale will be my starting left-hand side centre-back. So you will play that first game, but then he will come in and then it's your shirt to win back. Is that the sort of thing that might happen? Or will it be a case of, look, Pascal will be starting the season and then you've got to depose him? It's just wondering which one of those conversations has taken place.
I think as a footballer, you have to be realistic in the fact that you can't expect to just go straight in. You know, even though you might have been told, yeah, you are my primary centre half, whatever it may be, but you've looked at that win at home, first game of the season, slightly unexpected maybe, and then you've been suspended, so you have to bide your time. I think he just takes a couple of games, takes it at face value and thinks, you know what, it's fine, I'm not going to kick up a storm just yet. And it seems like we recruit like that. He doesn't want characters that are going to come in and cause massive disruption if they're not playing.
The no dickheads rule.
Exactly.
Which they do have.
Yeah. So I think it's important that you can just be professional and wait for your opportunity. And I don't think he'll have to wait too long. I think, you know, like I said, for me, I think it'd be international break.
There's the Sheffield Wednesday game to come as well, isn't it? Midweek.
Yeah.
So obviously I'd imagine we'll see maybe close to 11 changes to that. It wouldn't be a surprise to see certainly 7 or 8, would it?
No, absolutely not. And I suppose that is then a chance against a, on paper, much weaker opposition to allow those players in a competitive sense to get used to the game plan. But we're going to be expected to be a lot more front foot. But it does feel like we've kind of got a couple of options in mind this season, which is why I'm intrigued to see how we approach this Arsenal game. I suspect we'll see the Sheffield Wednesday game a lot closer to the Everton game, or even the game, a lot of games last year where it's heavily possession-based attacking. So
yeah, I mean, I don't think Sheffield Wednesday can rotate their squad, can they, as it stands? So it'll be, but they're pretty much, they're very pieced together, aren't they, at the moment, Sheffield Wednesday? So whatever team we send there, you would anticipate we should go there and win. But it should be a decent run out for Beale, Okafor, maybe Calvert-Lewin. You'd think a fair few of them will get a first go in that.
Yeah.
A lot of managers like to use those cup games to bed in those players, but also it is a way to keep somebody in there as well.
Also, basically, if Beale comes in, and then he's going to retain his place.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's an easy way to drop somebody without dropping them, if that makes sense.
The more dark arts, psychological dark arts. Has that happened in your career?
Of course.
Were you on the receiving end or the beneficiary?
Both. Yeah.
You have played at Arsenal, haven't you, in a cup game?
I have, yes.
Thierry
Henry came in and late on.
How was that?
In terms of the game itself, or in terms of Thierry Henry coming on and
the latter? Yeah.
Hard. I think I might have actually played him on side.
Right.
Yeah. But we don't have to talk about that.
No, I think we should. Let's deep dive it.
So I was recovering. I probably should have got up the pitch a little bit quicker, maybe. But I think somebody got 1-2. Maybe Zach Thompson let him run through, but I was just slightly a yard. Kept him on side.
I was going to cut you slack. Actually, I did watch that goal this morning, and I'd completely missed the fact you were woefully out of position on that left hand side.
I wouldn't say woefully.
Give him some feedback.
Mainly, I'd looked at Zach Thompson and gone, God, I completely forgot he existed.
Yeah, all right. But no, I think Zach just got caught one-sided, and I'd been on the touchline trying to defend the cross and didn't get probably up quick enough.
Did you say that to Henry afterwards and trying to get a shirt?
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't give his shirt, I think.
Wouldn't he?
No, he said he wanted to keep it. But you can understand why.
Yeah.
You know, being his first game back. And do you know what? He kicked me in the corner, he did after as well. Yeah. He was trying to hold it up and I kind of snuck in, and then I broke away the ball and gave me a big... I think he got booked for it in the end. Tried to kick me.
These players kicking the classy players out of the game, aren't
they? Do you know what I mean?
That's what Thierry Henry's all about.
Yeah.
Just a hatchet, man.
Just a sickening, absolute sickening. What's it like at the Emirates then as an away player?
I would describe it as a smaller Wembley. Not quite as atmospheric. You know, it seems like the fans are a little bit further away from the pitch. There's noise, but it's not as intense.
Yep.
You know, it's not as full on in your face as like an Ellen Road as such, or, you know, where a crowd's really close to the game and the stands are different. You know, with it being the bowl, I just feel it's a little bit further away and the noise is quite distant. But, you know, there's lots of people there. 70-odd thousand people?
60, is
it? But it's a hell of a ground, don't get me wrong. Great one to play in.
Away dressing rooms?
Nice.
Yeah.
Beckham was there, and after the game, a lot of people were trying to get photos and things like that.
Beckham was there?
Yeah, he was watching in the stand. I think probably mates with Thierry, wasn't he? So,
maybe.
Yeah, he was down at the change rooms after with all the Arsenal boys.
Famous, handsome WhatsApp group. Not been invited yet.
just waiting for the call.
Just waiting, yeah. I'm sure we had him one day.
I'm going to delete the app and re-add it because it doesn't seem to be working properly. Do you see that's one of the first, just go back to the Arteta being a bit of a bell end. Do you see that
he was in that game? So he played in that game.
He did
Arteta.
And I was
can't remember him.
Have you seen he's been in the news recently because he wanted the tunnel roof taken off, like, so you know the big extended tunnel thing. Yeah, they've taken that out at Arsenal, I think. I don't know if it's a Premier League regulation that you have to have it in or whatever, but there was a photograph. I don't know if it was a pre-season friendly or what, but essentially his logic is we want the visiting players to feel the full force of the crowd there as they emerge. And it's like, come on, Mikel.
Put the flying pizza on the side of it. That's what I want at Leeds.
Yeah, like back in the olden days.
Back in the 90s.
Yes, when everything was better. But yeah, I know there's this kind of marginal gains culture, but it's a fucking tunnel, mate. Come on, grow up.
I quite like coming out of the tunnels. I don't like just coming out of the straight into the pitch. I think the tunnel just adds a different dimension to it.
Yeah.
You know, it's dark, it's compact. I think it's more intimidating coming out of a tunnel.
Yeah, don't tell him. He'll have a narrower tunnel put in. God, if ever there was a good reason to take 3 points, it's just to annoy him, isn't it? So you can sit there like a sourpuss in the post-match press conference moaning about whatever it is infraction that we did wrong. Because there's nothing like going back to the Everton game. It's quite satisfying that we won based on a controversial incident. It's awful.
It's a penalty.
It's awful when it goes against you, but I love it when it goes for you.
You're saying penalty.
Penalty,
as well.
Straight away.
As a defender, you can't throw yourself at a ball that far to the side, can you?
It's difficult because of the deflection. For me, though, with the arm position, do you actually make your body bigger? Because
by tucking him in?
Yeah, you've got more surface areas. If your arm's out to the side, it can go through, especially if you. So I don't know whether it's actually enlarging the body.
Kind of run around like Napoleon Dynamite, flapping your arms.
But he does lean, and I mentioned on the comms, I know Tarkowski quite well, and used to play with him, and he's a really good guy, and I do feel sorry for him, but it's a pen. Got to be.
Where did you play with him?
Oldham. I went on loan from Leeds to Oldham when I was a kid, and it was his kind of first season. You could tell back then he was a decent player. But yeah, penalty all round.
Right. It's interesting hearing you say that, because my hypothesis on this was that even if that movement towards the ball is just purely instinctive from a defender's point of view, because it happens in a split second, doesn't it? I think that's one of the things that when you see the super slow-mo replays, you go, well, that's clearly a deliberate move. It's happening. You're not even thinking about it. You're just doing it, aren't you? So if he moves instinctively,
like you say, it is instinctive
to block it, and you block it with your arm, it's handball. That's my thoughts on it.
I think so. If it's going out for a corner, yeah, fair enough, give the guy the benefit of the doubt, but it is on target. I know Pickford's behind it and stuff, but still on target.
That's what I said, like run the thought experiment. What if Pickford hadn't been there and he stopped that going in? Then there's going to be no debate about it whatsoever. So
in real time, penalty, and I still think afterwards penalty because the way he's leaning.
Yeah, and red card I want.
Slightly harsh.
Yeah, even if it's not in the rules.
3-month ban.
Just get him off.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, just get him off. Any further thoughts then, or should we sign this one off? Looking forward to seeing that blue away kit. If it's that one, maybe it's the third. We don't know, do we?
It's got to be that, isn't it?
For the sake of heritage, for tapping into that Viduka vibe.
Although that was still at Highbury, wasn't it? The Viduka one.
And we'd been shit that season. We just dug that one out of the bag, didn't we, if you remember?
Arsenal have never been the same for me since I left Highbury.
No.
It's always felt like a slightly different club as soon as they moved. I don't know if it's the camera position that you got so used to seeing them at Highbury.
Well, that's the Everton thing this year, isn't it? I suppose, to a certain extent, is that does it change what it feels like to be an Evertonian in a brand new stadium rather than, because it feels like they very much lent into the stadium and lent into the heritage there, and the Archibald Leach stands with all the crisscrosses on the metalwork and stuff, and suddenly you're in this brand new place.
Yeah. I think like West Ham had that problem, didn't they? Moving to the Olympic Stadium, it just lost the sense of the club, and I'm glad that we haven't gone along that route. I think Ellen Road's such a massive part of the club, and obviously expanding it's going to be good in some aspects, but we're not going to lose the whole culture of Leeds. Yeah,
it's the sort of the Triggers Broom approach to renovating it, isn't it? It's like it might be an almost completely different stand when you look at it, but it's because it's been done a bit at a time, you retain that sense of continuity. It's not just going into a completely new place where you don't.
And weirdly, you retain match day rituals as well, because you still go into the same place, and you could probably get in there the same way. And it's just kind of holds up.
Well, because they're retaining the concrete uprights from the old West Stand when they take it down. Because I'm sad, I looked at the plans for the new stand floor by floor, and the dressing rooms are going to be in the same position, like in the centre. So you come out and then you turn left and go out the tunnel, and the away dressing room's going to be on the other side of it, which I gather is how they are now. Is that right?
When I was there, so if I'm coming into the tunnel, it was go into the tunnel, you turn right, and then changing room, home team changing room was on your right, and then slightly down the corridor, away changing room was on your left.
Yeah, so I mean that, but the other way around. So when you're coming out of the dressing room, you'll turn left. So right as you come in, left as you go out. So they're basically in the same position as they are now. The tunnel will be in the same position. And even though they're basically overlaying the concrete on the new lower West Stand, it'll still be the same layout. So I wonder if there's that, it gives that little layer of continuity about it, even though it'll be all shiny and new on top.
We'll have replaced all the team by then.
No bother.
We'll be moving on to our £80 million signings by then.
Oh, bring it on, eh? Thank you, AIDY. Right, we'll do it again in a few weeks, yeah?
Pleasure.
See you soon.
Cheers, gents.
The Square Ball Podcast.